Right, let's try and do this in one take. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. It might not be New Year yet where you are. I'm hoping to get this on at midnight tonight here, which is only a few hours away, and then that will be New Year here, but we're the first people in the world to see it. It might not be New Year when you see it. Anyway, I'm not normally on film, I know that. My wife's behind the camera today, and she's going to be reading me some questions in a moment, and I'll be answering them. Hi, Josta. They're questions that you asked on a previous video. You might see a few changes in the aviary as well today. You'll see them in the next video, my first of my weekly updates next year. I've got a new avatar. Some of you may have already noticed that. You'll see a cockatiel now instead of a palm leaf. And I might be changing the name of the channel, but I'm still thinking about that one. Anyway, you don't want to see too much more of me, so let's look at the birds. So this year, as you know, Woody's no longer with us, but he's still of this earth, I hope. We're going to go and see him soon, and yeah, Joey, yeah, what's up? We're going to go see him soon. You talking? Yeah. What you doing? Yeah, so this year we've gotten silver quail, which we never had before, which are... there's 3 of them hiding over the back there. Those 3 are the babies of Sauvignon and Blanc, who are in the cage next door. Blanc is currently sitting on eggs again. We lost a few quail. We lost a few turquoisines this year, including poor little Zooster, old Zooey, who is now commemorated with his own his own plant outside here. It had a few colours on it, made us think of Zooey. Oh, Carrie, last day of the year, Carrie. No, girls, you say hello. Chook, chook. Chook, chook. So that's basically a quick roundup. Now we're going to do the questions. So my wife is going to read out some questions for me, and I'm going to answer them. I don't know what I'm going to say yet. I don't know what all the questions are. Mouthful of bubbles, get me going. Right, so let's just move over here.
How many birds do you own, and what species do you keep in here?
Okay, well that's an easy one because I counted earlier. So we've got 31 birds in total, but they're not all in here. 28 of them are in here. 2 of them are those chickens out there, and 1 is Straubs, who we took inside because I thought he'd be too noisy during the making of this video. Just like the traffic. So we have 5 teals. Hey, Josta. 5 teals, 5 quail, 5 Java sparrows, which are always hard to find. And I can't see any at the moment. They've all... Oh, there they are in there. Hiding away. We've got 7 Turks, 2 males. Oops, there's one of the males squawking at me there. 2 males in here, 1 male next door, who is yellow. That wasn't a mistake. And 4 females, but we also at the moment have 5 babies. Hey, Joey. So there's a lot more Turks along the way. We've got 2 red rumps in here, somewhere, up there. We have Tweety Pie and Sylvester. And 2 doves, 2 Barbary doves. Barbary dove, Barbary dove, Barbary dove. There's one there. And the other one is no doubt sitting on a nest up here. Hello. Give me grumpy. Hello. Very tame these doves. And we also have 2 pheasants, Swinny and Carrie, and like I said, 2 chooks and Straubs, a galah. So that's question number 1. What's the next question?
Question number 2 is, which species of bird that you own is most fun?
Well, that's kind of easy, but he's not out here to show you. But Straubs, our galah, is by far the most fun. But out in the aviary, it's definitely the cockatiels. It's hard not to love cockatiels, isn't it, Joey? Yeah. What are you doing? Joey is a personal favourite, of course. And the Turks are very cute and sweet. I love all the birds, but the cockatiels, due to their fun nature, makes them the most fun to keep, I guess. Question number 3.
Question number 3. How do you keep that place so clean, and how much seed or food do you go through in a week?
How much food do we go through in a week? I wouldn't have a clue. I really wouldn't know. We buy seed, we buy this aviary mix. We buy that in 20 kg bags, and I don't know how often we buy one. Probably once a month, do you think? Around once a month. We put it in this tub here, and it needs replacing. It's filling up, as you can see. So we buy 20 kgs of that. We buy bags of millet on the stem. We buy peanuts. We also go through other fresh food. We've got some corn here today. Yeah, so I wouldn't have a clue how much it all costs, really. Probably somewhere in the region of $20 a week, New Zealand. So that's about, I don't know, $14 or something like that, US. Yeah, what was the other part of that question? How do you keep it clean? Well, people always think that concrete floors are easier to keep clean, which I don't believe in at all. We've got a natural floor, as most of you of course will know and can see, and if the seeds fall on the ground, well, you don't have to clean them up and stuff. If they sprout, like they are here, the birds can eat that. And the birds love eating the greenery, and greenery is good for them, so it makes life easy in that regard. But as for perches and things like this, we've got a hose system, kind of. Got a hose set up down here, click things on there, and that way I can easily hose down plants and perches. I don't know how often I do it, whenever is necessary, whenever it's dirty. What else have we got?
Aside from designing a large enclosed aviary, are there any other things to consider before purchasing or thinking about purchasing a pair of pheasants?
Most definitely. Pheasants are, these two aside, very wussy, flighty creatures. Swinny has a very good temperament, and that's why I have her. And Carrie's pretty good now too. But pheasants can be very flighty and very temperamental and very sooky, and when they panic they tend to fly straight up at a high rate of knots, and if you've got a solid hard roof they can easily break their necks. So it's a good idea, excuse the miners squawking above, to have shade cloth or something soft for them on the surface instead of mesh. That way if they do fly up, there's a bit of give in the shade cloth so they don't smash in and break their necks. That would be the biggest thing, I think. Make it as big as you can, make it as soft as you can. If you're only going to keep pheasants, you don't need mesh like we've got on the outside here. You can have a softer mesh, and that will be fine for pheasants. Make it as high as you can so they can fly. They do like to get up high to sleep at night. They need high perches. Carrie sleeps up here on this perch in the same spot every night. It's over 6 feet off the ground. And Swinny sleeps in a different place every night, but always as high as she can get. So you've got to have high perches, preferably natural branches. They have to be the right diameter for their feet. Don't make them too big, else their toes get, if their toes stay too straight, flat out like they are on the ground at the moment, at night when they want to relax them and curve them up, the toes will end up twisting to the side, and you often see pheasants that have bent toes, and that's one of the reasons why. You don't have to worry too much about temperature with pheasants, because they can handle the cold no problem, and if you build a covered area for them, they'll probably just sit out in the rain and the snow or whatever you happen to have anyway. They're pretty tough creatures. So yeah, what else? What's next? Sounds like there's a police helicopter coming to say hello.
How do you deal with freezing temperatures in an aviary?
Well, you'd have to ask somebody else that question, because I don't have to deal with freezing aviary conditions. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the helicopter to pass over. We don't have freezing conditions here in Auckland. It just doesn't get that cold. So in the aviary here, with the shade cloth and the roofing on half of it here, it never gets that cold in here. The birds are protected from frost with the shade cloth and everything else. We only get a very few small frosts a year. No big deal. And so yeah, freezing temperatures, I don't know, because we don't have them. Can't believe that helicopter's flying around. But I do have a video talking about our temperature at this aviary. Oh, there he is. Oh, now the neighbour's starting his motorbike up. The alarm up the road will go off next, you didn't realise that. Just every time I try and film out here, you guys wouldn't believe the amount of footage I have trying to film in this aviary when a helicopter goes over, or a plane, or there's a miner squawking its head off, the neighbour's dogs bark, or there's a motorbike, or an alarm, or somebody driving past with loud music and sirens, and it can be quiet for ages, and you think, right, perfect, I'll go out and film, and then this happens. Anyway, next question.
Next question. Would you say one cockatiel is really messy?
Yes.
I know you said Joey lived with you alone, so was he a messy bird by himself?
He was never by himself, he was with Charlie, but yes, cockatiels are very messy. I hope there's not somebody breaking into the front of our house right now, because that police helicopter is circling our house. This YouTube video might be about to get a bit more interesting. Right, carry on.
Okay, was he a messy bird? And how could I reduce the amount of mess made? Because I have 3 budgies that are super messy, and I wanted to know how to reduce it. Could an air filter work?
Yeah, messiness depends on birds. Parrots are messy. They're so wasteful. They don't care about just throwing things around. They'll pick things up and just drop them if they're not in the mood for it. And so you're never going to stop them throwing seed around with an air filter. An air filter will help stop dander from birds, especially if you have these sort of birds. Sorry, just going to clear my throat. If you have cockatiels or galahs or any of the cockatoo family, they have a white powder that comes off them, which, fly, Charlie, I want to see if we can see it. Probably not the right lighting to see it at the moment, but whenever you see cockatiels and cockatoos and galahs and corellas, all those sort of birds take off, they let off a blast of white powder, which is very fine and leaves a layer of white dust over everything. And a air filter will help get rid of that, but it ain't going to stop your bird from throwing seeds and things around. There's lots of things you can do with the cages. You can put sides around the bottom and things like that to help stop it, but it only stops a little bit of it. If you've got a parrot, they're going to be messy. It's kind of just something you've got to live with. And then when you've got them out, they're going to poo on the floor, and yeah, and they love to chew on things and make a mess that way. They're just always messy, I'm afraid. That's part of the things I love about them. They're just such destructive, messy little buggers. Aren't you? Yeah. Right, next question.
Next question, and I'll say this quietly because there's 3 of them watching. If I get a female cockatiel for my male, Will he be less narcissistic and calmer with other birds?
Will he be less narcissistic? You guys aren't narcissistic, are you? You haven't got any mirrors or anything in here to look at yourselves, have you? Not anymore. Hey, you want to scratch? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not 100% sure because we haven't got a female. And I'm a bit worried about getting a female, because if we got one female, it would be a disaster in here. If you have one male bird, then yeah, by all means get it a pair. If I had one male cockatiel, we would have a female for him. It might make him less friendly towards you because he'll be putting his affections towards the female bird instead of you, and might become protective of the female, and then you might not be able to get close to the male as much as you used to. So that's something you've got to be wary of. But as for in here, I mean, we would have to get sort of 5 females at once. Our poor female would get harassed to death, I think. What are you two doing? So, yeah, I hope that answers the question. Will they be calmer? Potentially, because when it's the time of year that it is now in this part of the world, they do get rather randy, and males pumping testosterone do get a bit aggressive and a little bit rough. So a female can help release that, I suppose. Yeah, is that the best way to say it? Hello, Charlie. Yeah, so I mean, none of these guys are particularly stroppy or anything. We have tried to have females before. This is Poopy. Poopy was meant to be a female, and that there on the right, at the back, the grey cockatiel, that's Leela. He was meant to be a female as well. So Fry and Leela, those two there, were male and female, or so we thought. They were our first cockatiels, and we thought, right, got a pair of cockatiels, sweet. And then that didn't turn out, and then we got Charlie and Joey, who we knew were both boys. We adopted them because they needed somewhere to live. And then I got Poopy, thinking Poopy was a female for my wife as a present, and Poopy turned out to be a boy too. Don't buy young cockatiels if you want to find girls. Wait until they're a bit older. Hey, Joestar. So yeah, that's how we ended up with 5 boys, but they all get along pretty well, and I think a female might now ruin it. I'd be scared if we put a female in here that they wouldn't want to talk to us, because they'd be chasing the female around all the time. So, next question.
Next question is about kookaburras.
Kookaburras. Oh, we haven't got kookaburras in here.
How long did it take you? How long did it take you to befriend those beautiful kookaburra? And how did you go about earning their trust as much as you have?
I do love kookaburra. So all the kookaburras and the other Australian birds, the magpies, the butcher birds, the currawongs, the lorikeets, the king parrots, and all the other ones, they live in Australia, obviously, not here in New Zealand in this aviary. All those wild birds, because they're in Australia, Australia is very different from other countries. It's totally different from New Zealand with the bird life, in that birds in New Zealand and in so many parts of the world are scared of people, whereas in Australia, speaking, you know, on the whole, they are friendlier. They're just friendlier. You can be in the middle of nowhere and going for a bushwalk, and a parrot can come down and land in a tree next to you and look at you like, come on, are you going to feed me or what? They're just so friendly. And no matter where you go, there are kookaburras swooping down, trying to steal your picnics, swooping down in restaurants. You'll have lorikeets eating off your plate in restaurants. The birds just don't have the fear that they have in so many other places around the world. And so that helps immensely in befriending a bird. So the kookaburras will just come, as soon as they know you've got food, bang, they're there. I mean, they're all opportunists. Anything for a free feed, a cheap feed, an easy feed. So it's pretty easy, really. If you're there and you've got food, they will be there. And once they know you're there, they will come and ask you for food all the damn time. And so it's basically as simple as that. And then it's just patience, really, on top of that. Hey, Poopy. if you've got the patience to stand there and or sit there and not move and just let them come to you, then once they've got your trust, it's easy. Hey, Poopy. It's the same with birds in an aviary like this. You've just got to sit there and let them come to you. Once they've come to you and they realise you're okay and you've got food, most importantly, once they know you've got food, it's easy peasy. Hey, Twist. So I think that's it for the questions. So thanks to everybody who asked a question on my video, whenever it was, a couple of weeks ago. I hope that's answered your questions in an appropriate way. And now I better go and put this online, eh, Joey? Yeah, so the next video, next year, if you haven't watched my Christmas video, I am going to start doing weekly updates. Pause for a mouthful of bubbles. So the weekly updates will begin shortly, in a few days' time, next year, which is only a few hours away from now. So next year I will be, or this year, depending on when you're watching this, doing weekly videos, weekly updates of the aviary. Oh, look at that, and there goes the bubbles. My wife's champagne just ended up on the ground. I hope the birds don't drink that. So, oh, some corn. Who wants corn? So, yeah, next week, weekly updates. I'll try and do that all year. I mean, at some point we'll be going on holiday, so I don't know what I'll do there. Sort something out. Maybe I'll get our bird babysitter to do videos. Hey, what do you reckon, mate? He's a pretty boy. He's a pretty bird. He's a pretty bird. So anyway, eat, drink and be merry. Have a good new year. And I will see you all in the next one. Right now we're just going to have a little bit of relax, talk to the birds. Wow, that is after rushing inside and trying to upload a video. So thanks you to everybody who's watched this year. Thanks to all my subscribers. I wouldn't be doing it without you guys, of course. Thanks for all the input you've given me over the last year in regards to how to do these videos and how often you want them and all that sort of stuff, and all your kind words about the birds and the aviary and little Joester here. Hey, yeah, you're a crowd favourite, Joey. So I'll see you guys all next year, which isn't too far away. Oh, bye bye, Joester. Say Happy New Year. Say Happy New Year. And special thanks to my wife for reading out the questions. Look out for an upcoming video on wetters. Oh.